we'll keep going with all of this. And last, I just wanted to say thank you for your synthesis, David and Superintendent Rinelli, of taking all that information and having such a great budget presentation and sending it out early today so we had a chance to take a look at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Culture Climate.
So the Culture, Climate, and Communication Relations Committee met on February the 18th to discuss the pending projects, including the positive messaging at Kanakamak, Black History Month messaging, Rutgers partnerships, and the Vision Health awareness. We discussed the positive messaging that's continuing at Kanakamak. We're working with staff and junior National Honor Society students to select messages, and we'll begin adding those messages to the school restrooms in the early spring. The Black History Month messaging, the committee reviewed the examples of that messaging, and it appeared on all the school marquees during Black History Month. You probably noticed them in your travels. The Rutgers and corporate partnerships. So administration continues to work with the Rutgers Division of Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement, also known as DICE, to provide student volunteers for Education Foundation and school events, and has confirmed that Susan Robeson will appear at Piscataway Reads to share her picture book about Paul Robeson. Updates for an October 2020 presentation on preventing hearing loss from a local company, Signia, also took place. And the fourth is the Vision Services. The administration reported on Vision Services currently available in the district. Discussion took place regarding May as a Healthy Vision Month and conducting a used glasses drive at schools during that time to promote Vision 2020. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken, and thank you, Colleen and Judy, for working so hard with the Culture Climate Committee. You guys are doing a great job, and the positive messaging was really, really wonderful in February. I really appreciate that. On the policy, Brenda?
The Policy and Legislative Committee met this week, actually, on Tuesday evening, and we undertook to review the COVID-19 response plan, at which Mr. Rubin briefed the committee on the district's coronavirus response plan, highlighting the superintendent's formation of the crisis team to make decisions quickly and to communicate developments to the school community. We also undertook to review Policy 5512, which is our harassment, intimidation, and bullying portion of our policy manual. And the two of us on that committee, Ms. Lane and myself, are new, and it was an opportunity for us to review and evaluate our policy. Mr. Rubin explained the definitions of HIB, policy's anti-retaliation provisions, and other provisions that are pertinent to our policy. And the committee agreed that the policy is adequate in its present form. Also, we were also advised on Paul's Law, which I am advised that Piscataway had previously had their own policy and had been following it, but the state has seen fit to actually codify it under the name of Paul's Law, which is requires the districts implement seizure plans for students with seizure disorders, finding that the district complies with everything that the new law requires. We had been doing it for quite a while. So we had a very productive evaluation of our policies in our meeting.
All right, thank you, Brenda. And I apologize, I didn't make that meeting, but I do plan to come to your next meeting. Approval of minutes. Was that? Is that you, Brenda?
Make a motion that the minutes be approved with any necessary corrections.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and school matters of community interest. In support of this position, the law establishes a period of public comment at every board meeting. Individuals wishing to speak must state their name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes duration, but an individual may speak a second time after all others who wish to speak on the topic have been heard. The board may require that individuals register to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. Participants may submit written material in support of their position. All statements and/or questions shall be directed to the presiding officer, and no participant may address or question board members individually. All speakers are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect for the dignity and privacy rights of others whose legal rights may be affected. Please note, while it is not the board's intention to stifle comment on matters of legitimate concern to the school community, the public should be aware that if their statements violate the rights of others under the law governing defamation or invasion of privacy, they may face personal liability to the injured party. If speakers are uncertain of the legal ramifications of their comments, the board urges them to seek guidance beforehand from their own legal advisor. May I have a motion?
Second.
Is there anyone that wishes to speak in public session?
How you doing? John Tarana, 515 Longfellow Avenue. I'd like to congratulate the cast, the crew, and the pit band of the Performance 9 to 5. They did a wonderful job. Tim, I expect to see you in Carnegie Hall. Nice. It was really a great play. I know how much effort it goes into. It's amazing, the three of you here, going to the school board meetings, going to class, doing your homework, doing excellent in school, and having time for the drama club. That's such a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
And then also, I'd like to thank Dr. Rinaldi for the parent resource on the coronavirus on the web. That is providing such great information. It's timely information. It's facts, and I really appreciate you make an incredibly difficult decisions, trying to balance the needs of public health, the parents, the students, and I'm sure there's a million other things you have to take into account.
Thank you,
But
John.
it's definitely
A lot
a
of help, and I
difficult
appreciate it.
decision, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate you keeping us informed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to say that.
Yes, thank you for your kind words, and of course, the board wants to thank you also, Dr. Pinelli, because you are doing a fantastic job, and as I've said to you often in our conversations about everything that you're trying to do and doing very well, and then to have this too. So I do appreciate all your hard
Thank
work.
you.
And
It's all about the team there, though.
it is, and I appreciate your team, and I know your team supports you.
Yeah,
So
they do.
we appreciate all of you. All right, anyone else?
Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Sessoms, 329 Westfield Avenue, Piscataway. Superintendent Rinelli, it's nice to finally meet you. I never met you before, but I am familiar with pretty much everyone else in the room, and you guys are doing a great job, and I am confident that we'll all survive the coronavirus, but I am here to talk about it, and I know we're in good hands with all of you in charge, so we need to make intellectual decisions. So I just wanted to say, I know there's a ramped up cleaning with the schools. I'm not sure about the buses. I just want to make sure the buses are getting clean. Also in the bathrooms, I just want to make sure there's plenty of soap and paper towels. I'm here on behalf of the children. And there's a shortage on sanitizers, so I don't know how many kids are able to bring it into school or not.
So, you want me to just take them one by
Oh,
one,
sure.
if you'd like?
Whatever you
Okay.
want. I only have 3 minutes.
So that's okay. No, this is really important. Whatever we need to do, we will. So we had conversations and meetings with our own bus drivers and
Okay.
the drivers that we have, not to mention the company that we employ, Layla, about the cleaning. And we wanted to make sure that the handrails were wiped between every run. If there was any necessary wiping of the seats after runs, they make them, but at the end of the day, they clean them as well, our buses and Layla. So we made those calls. We wanted to make sure that they were part of the plan and in the plan.
Okay, I just
So
wasn't
we
sure.
appreciate that, and something like that can get overlooked, so I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. As far as the bathrooms, absolutely, clean throughout the day as well as at night. And we have one of my first questions to Mr. Olivero and the Director of Facilities, Mr. Griffith, was, do we have enough supplies?
Mhm, 'cause
Because we
they're running
won't
out
be
of
able to
tissue,
order
too.
them, right? Because
Yeah.
everybody in the world is going to be ordering the same supplies from the same company.
Right.
And we have supplies for years, and we're happy about it that we were proactive enough, without even thinking about this, to have enough supplies in stock for what we need. And we'll continue to monitor that, and we'll continue to try to order as much as it's on back order.
Okay, and that's good to know too, because I know right now, based on the facts, the children aren't affected as much, but there has been a case in Bergen County where there was a 16-year-old.
Yep.
So now that's starting to
Sure.
make me be more concerned. I know the colleges have closed, many of them.
Pick my son up tomorrow.
Yes, and so my daughter too, she's in
Yep.
Rowan, so she was a student here as well. But anyway, basically what they have done is move the spring break up so that it can help with the days, because I know everyone's concerned
Sure.
about the calendar days. And so maybe, I think right now, other than washing your hands, the best thing is like to stay away from the crowds. So I was hoping maybe you could put something in place that maybe we move the spring break. I mean, whatever you guys do is not my decision, I'm
Well,
just
you know, we
suggesting.
appreciate it, and we did talk about that option. Right now, we know we have that as an option, but we're not going to employ that. You know, as much as travel is limited, people have made plans for that, and it might still be doing it if they're driving or whatever. And we have limited big crowds, all of the events that we have with big crowds. But as I said before, it's changing by the hour. So
Right.
we know that that's an option for us to do.
Okay.
And we know we have 3 snow days that we could play with if we don't
Okay.
get permission from the DOE. And if you see me checking my phone, it's checking the facts that we're getting.
Right.
And right now, we don't have a reason to ask for days virtually to count. That might change tomorrow, not our reason, but our flexibility in being able to do that. So at this time, we know it's an option, but we're not going to employ it because we're thankful that we're understanding how to wash our hands, but we're trying to do the best we can without having to do that.
Right, and it's also my understanding that the children can maybe have the coronavirus and bring it home to grandparents, and I have a mom that's elderly with the same health issues that they're saying,
Okay.
could be a problem. So that was a major concern for me
Okay.
as well. So I know everyone's doing everything they can, but I just want to just,
I appreciate it.
reiterate
Yeah, I
the
really appreciate it.
concerns.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so.
it's not a problem.
And if they work from home with the computers and stuff, that would be a great idea.
Yeah, so tomorrow we are planning on getting out to families, the plans and the directions, so families can plan. Again,
Right.
computer time, whether I have to pick up pages,
Right.
things like that. And they could feel free to ask questions based on those plans that we get out. So we feel we're as ready as we need to be.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome,
Okay.
thanks for coming.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Sessions, and again, thank you for coming, and maybe next month, bring some friends. We'd like to have
Yeah.
others to come to our board meeting.
I told everybody.
You did? Oh, okay, all right, well, thank you for being here. Anyone else? All right, can I have a motion to close?
Motion.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. Fiscal planning?
Be it resolved, the following motions identified as items A through H be approved as presented.
Do I get a second?
Second.
I'd just like to point out, item H is kind of the next step of what Dr. Connors was talking about, the local government energy audit. So that's a resolution authorizing an RFP, just so we can, again, take that next step to see what companies are interested in coming in to effectuate some of the findings of that local government energy audit.
Where is that? All right, I got it. Okay. Do I need a motion?
H, yeah.
Okay. Any other oh, there we go. Any other comments? No further comments? Will you take the roll?
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Mrs. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. Laughlin?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hobson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Right there.
Oh, she's on the policy. No policy. Okay.
Resolutions for you tonight.
No resolution. All right. Okay, and curriculum?
Be it resolved that the following motion identified as A through C be approved as presented.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Got to do a roll call. Board secretary, will you do the roll?
Mrs. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. Laughlin?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hobson?
All with the exception of,
You're okay with this one?
yes? Oh, okay. Yes.
Motion's carried.
Oh, I'm doing Oh, okay, I see. That's right there, yeah. People services. Nathan?
Be it resolved that the following motions identified as item A
Oh, I see.
and B be approved as presented.
Motion?
Second?
Will you read the, take the roll?
Mrs. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. Laughlin?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes.
Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hobson?
Yes.
Motion's carried.
I'd like to just make a quick comment. I'd like to thank the Piscataway Soccer Club for working in conjunction with us, providing the seed for Green Acres, again, as we work in conjunction with them. So we appreciate the donation. Good. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Administrative and auxiliary, Ms. Lane.
Be it resolved that the following motions identified as items A through D be approved as presented.
A through E.
Oh, I'm sorry, A through E. Apologies.
Second.
Second.
I'll just make a comment on item E. Item E is a resolution to readopt the board's annual goals. They are listed up here on the board, the 2019 board goals. Those will be readopted for 2020 as the board continues to work on those goals.
Can I have a motion? Oh, we're good?
Take the roll.
Okay, take the roll, please.
Mr. Laughlin?
Oh, so A through-
Yes, B through A, abstain, item A.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Dr. Connors?
Yes to all except no to item C.
Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Mrs. Lane?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mrs. Hobson?
Yes through A through E with the exception of D, abstain from D.
Motion's carried.
New business? Any new business?
Madam President, I have a couple of items. This past Saturday, I was down at the New Jersey School Boards Association Legislative Committee. I guess if you show up, you get to volunteer for all these things. And the Legislative Committee is made up of school board members from across the state, and I just happen to represent our District 17 Legislative Committee. There were a couple guest speakers. One, the first was two people who talked, well, the first was on preschool expansion. That was the first item. And the second item was on some legislation that I'm going to talk about. On the preschool is that we had Cynthia Rice of the Advocates for Children of New Jersey, and they talked about preschool expansion across the state. And another woman, Beth Garnier, she's represents the National Institute for Early Education Research. And I actually went up to them afterwards, and they know Piscataway quite well because, as people remember, in Governor Murphy's bid to become governor, he was big advocate of early childhood education in preschool. And Piscataway, to our credit, and I'm not going to mention the individuals because a group of people, we don't have any grant writers, but quickly a grant was put together to get money. Piscataway was one of the first districts to take advantage of state aid for preschool, which is why we have what we're talking about, with the Children's Corner at the Cabrini, Children's Corner over on the lake and the old Fatima School. But see, not all districts across the state are taking advantage of, in Governor Murphy's fiscal year 2020 budget, there's $25 million. So they came out to just remind those people that there's money out there to take advantage of for preschool education, and I'll leave it at that. So, but the most important thing is, Piscataway, we're taking advantage of that preschool money. The second thing was, it's kind of timely, and I don't know how this is going to change. It was legislation right now in the state assembly and in the Senate, which was basically, it's about vaccinations. It started because, remember, Lakewood, a lot of parents weren't choosing to vaccinate their children, and the measles started to spread. So there is legislation right now. It's called, the numbers for these bills are usually start with an A or an S. The Assembly one is A969, and the Senate one is S902. And what it's about, it's a statutory exemptions from mandatory immunization requirements for child care centers and school attendance. So the school attendance pieces that would affect us. A lot of people were very adamant about not letting kids into your schools if they don't have the mandatory immunization. So it's a very hot issue. So nothing has been resolved yet because they're still discussing this. But basically, it says that a child who is not in compliance with the mandatory immunization requirements who seeks to attend non-public child care center, preschool program, school, or tourism higher education will be required to provide the facility with written notice of which specific immunization requirements the child or student is not in compliance with, and sign a form that states that the child or student or the child or student's parent or guardian understands the risks and benefits of vaccination. And so it's important. So we'll see how that goes, but it's a hot topic, vaccination in schools. The other little piece was that, as you can see, what's near and dear to my heart is money and finances, and I have a propensity to do that. I happen to chair, the next meeting was the New Jersey School Boards for the state. I chair the School Finance Committee. So there's representatives around the state, and that committee is charged with understanding the School Funding Reform Act that David was talking about. And so, because a lot of school districts around the state, specifically the ones that have been overfunded and not getting money, they're the ones that come to these committee meetings and scream, that. So this committee is got a report at the May Delegate Assembly of the New Jersey School Boards, which I will have to give a progress report about what we're trying to do to understand the formula a little better, so that we don't wind up in this situation where we have to put together a 6-year plan it's a benefit for all. One size doesn't fit all. But there's a lot of districts out here, a lot of problems. Toms River, Hillsborough, and so that's what I did this past Saturday, and that's what I wanted to report on.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any other new business? Sure you want to go? Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'll make a motion. I second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Yeah. Write that down.